I'm ready, man.
What you know about me? I seen it all, heard it all. Oh, what you know about me? I done it all, just want it all. Oh, what you know about me? I seen it all, heard it all. Oh, what you know about me? Oh, what you know about me? Oh, what you know about me?
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of More Than the Title, you dig? I'm your host as usual, Jarrett Thomas, Chief Revenue Officer at Outside the Box Digital. And you know I got my brother, my brethren, your favorite CEO, Chadeo. What's good, baby?
Grateful and thankful. You know how we intro this shit, man. Grateful and thankful, man. Grateful to be here another day. We woke up able to do what we love, and we love to do this shit. You heard?
That's a fact.
Grateful for that, and we're thankful for all the fans and the supporters. And we talked about it last week. Support doesn't mean monetary, right? All the text messages that we get that say, yo, you guys are doing a good job. The repost, people, everything counts as support. If you're doing something, that's support. Then we don't want to have nothing to talk about.
Nah, I said, yo, and YouTube's been going crazy, man. Shout out to the YouTube community, man. And shout out before we get into this guest, man. If y'all know that y'all seen the first episode with this guest, y'all know we about to go crazy.
Yeah,
you know we about to go crazy. But shout out to Kai and the Hip Hop Closet, man. We went to the damn block party on Saturday, man. She did something dope for the community. Had the food vendors out. Ted Smooth was DJing. It was fire. The kids was out there. Malik Yoba pulled up on it. It was a great vibe, great time, great people. So shout out to Sis, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
I want to say something. That event was very well put together. I'm talking about enough activities for people that were there. It had to be at least 10, 15 games, double dutch, Jenga, variety of games. They had I counted at least 5 food truck vendors out there, which is more than some fucking events that we go to for parties and big parties. They might have like 2. She had like 5.
Niggas have 2 aluminum pans and shit.
That's a fact. Enough seating and tables for people to eat and rest. This was coordinated extremely, extremely well. And I want to tell Kai, we enjoyed ourselves. It looked like everybody that was there enjoyed themselves. And for the interviews that we did, the feedback that we got was there was double the amount of people this year that attended from last year. So that means that event is growing and glowing. And it's no testament to the work ethic and the connections that she's making, man. Absolutely. Phenomenal event.
Shout out to Sis, man. And also, you already know, shout out to our distribution partners, the Live Podcast Network, the first woman-owned, black-owned podcast network in the world, y'all. Like we say it all the time, we don't just talk it, we walk it, and we rocking with the team. So if you want more content from black content creators like More Than the Title, make sure you take the phone out, download the QR app, and then half of your subscription goes back to the content creators themselves. Other platforms ain't doing it up like that. We got a lot of shit to announce with Angel and the live team. We got a lot of conferences and shit popping up. So more to come on that. But shout out to Sis. You already know.
Hold on, don't forget the big announcement. Not only is first owned black-owned, woman-owned network now the biggest network for black content. Not kind of, the biggest, beating out all the other networks out there that have black content. Alive is now the biggest. Holla at us. You know what I'm saying?
Talk to us. And before we begin to, first of all, shout out to my oldest, Jermaine. I love you, baby. Happy birthday. I can't believe I got a fucking 16-year-old, y'all. This shit is crazy, man. So we about to do it up. We getting old, man, but this is what we do it for. I do it for family. I do it for you, Jermaine. If you're watching this, you know I love you, man. And this is what we're doing. It's the sacrifice. That's what it looks like.
Shout out to little Cuzzo, man, because he was he was with us for the block party and all that, and you always have him with you. And I just want to tell you, man, from man to man, even though you're my cousin, I appreciate the father that I've watched you become, man. The role model that you continue to aspire to be. You definitely lead by example. You lead with love, and you lead with compassion. And there need to be more men like you out there, man. And I just want to say I salute you for that, man. And that's from the heart, man. I ain't no fluff over here. I mean what I say, real, man. Right. So, salute to you for that.
Nigga
man.
About to make me cry, man. Nigga about to, you know what I'm saying? Like, this nigga never said that shit. Nah, with that said, let's get to the...
Let's start the show.
The shits. First of all, because this brother's one of the realest, man. If y'all seen the first episode, make sure y'all go download the first episode with the Jobfather. This brother has made it his career mission to get more black professionals employed in the tech sector. His whole job philosophy is surrounded about it. It's based on it. He's built an incredible personal brand that has over 90,000 followers on LinkedIn alone, close to 100,000 on Twitter, and he's his authentic self. He's been growing and glowing across the tech space. And what I love about this brother, keeps it fucking real. He keeps it real. And he's himself, man. So I love the work that you're doing, and we honored to have you back for a second time. Let's introduce our brother, founder of Juniper HR, Jermaine, the Jobfather Murray, y'all. You dig? That's real, man.
Hey, man, I just want to say welcome to the show, and I want to give you your flowers too, man, because one of the biggest things that we talk about on this show is gatekeepers and people that get to a certain place economically after fighting and going through the struggle and then closing the door saying, yeah, it's enough of us in here now. You know what I mean? So for you to dedicate your life to making sure that more people are employed and more people are able to feed their families, man, I just want to give you a salute, man, because that's big for you to do that, man. And we need more brothers like you out there doing that, because trust me, it is not enough for you guys out there doing that, man. So salute to you for even attempting to do that, let alone making it your life's mission, man, because I know that cannot be an easy task. It cannot be.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, it's a task and a mission that's gotten me in a lot of hot water, more hot water than you would expect.
So you beat me to it. You beat me to it.
Yeah. You beat me on this side of the Mississippi, nigga.
Yeah, man. You guys already know. You guys already know. But like, you know, anytime you check out what's going on with like my LinkedIn, anytime I talk about like the Black perspective, I get a lot of heat. I got a lot of detractors. I got a lot of support, which I always love, and I know where my community's at. But like, it's crazy how certain people think that pro-Black is anti-anything, and they take it upon themselves to, like, you know, push that line of thought forward and shit. So it's worthwhile work. It wouldn't be worthwhile without the detractors or like without the haters. So like, I'm happy that I'm doing what I'm doing, and like each day I wake up and it's just a blessing to be able to like see a problem and not feel powerless to do nothing into it. You know what I'm saying?
That's real, bro. But when you talk about the detractors, right? What has been some of the negative outcomes, bro? Because first of all, to be there and say you're unapologetic about what you do. And that's why I appreciate what you do so much, bro. Like, I see the posts. You know, I like all them shit. I be like, oh, yeah, my guy talk. God damn, he beat me to it. I mean, you know, but you know what comes with that, bro? It comes with other things, right? It may have a detriment to your business, right? So how has you impacting Black professionals, right? Has the detractors ain't that been a detriment to the business? Like, how has it impacted the business and life in general?
So it hasn't actually impacted my business negatively. If anything, it's kind of like helped me at least build the authenticity within my business. Before though, because like my business was basically created as a way for me to do this advocacy without getting myself in trouble. So I was before like Jupiter HR initially started out as like a resume writing business. Like I was struggling getting a job, and I learned how to make good resumes, and I got to a point where, like, you know, my boys and I be chilling. We put on Indeed on the TV screen, and we start taking bets on whether or not I'm going to get a call back at a job. And like, we stopped doing the bets because I like more than like 9 times out of 10, I'm getting a call back for the job based on how nice my resume was. And then they asked me to do resumes for them. And I got all my friends, like, they're like first adult jobs, you know, so that was really cool. So that was
that's what I'm saying. You just hold on. My adult friends get jobs.
That's fire. Do not.
I don't think nobody in my circles ever got me a job.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Do not speak past that. That was a very important tidbit that you just dropped. You helped all of your friends get some of their first or the first adult job.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel about that? Like, seriously, like knowing that you started them on the path to economic embetterment and empowerment and the fact that they can now use that to provide for their family. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's big, bro. I'm being real. Jermaine, you can't say something like that and speed past that. We gotta talk about that for real.
To be real with you, I didn't even take it for anything, right?
Okay.
Like, it was just like it was actually kind of even like retroactive that they told me. Like I did their resumes and they got the interviews. I'm like, they had to do all the work. Like I gave them a couple like interview answers, like, yo, how do I answer? Tell me about yourself, or how do I answer? What's your biggest weakness? But like they still had to go in, they still had to perform, they still had to do like the technical test. So I never really like rated it like that. But like I remember one time I was just feeling really shitty about myself, and I was working at Enterprise rental car, and I was having like a really bad day, and I just feeling like shitty about myself. And my friends started picking me up, and they were telling me like, yo, I wouldn't have my job if it wasn't for that resume you made me. And I was just like, it's just a fucking resume. And they're like, no, bro. Like you need to understand, like, I wouldn't have gotten that shit if it wasn't for you. And like, that made me go to like somewhere else. And it made me feel good. It picked me up in that moment. And I still didn't really appreciate that until like later on. And even then, as you guys can kind of tell, I still don't really like appreciate that as much, because like, it happened. It feels like it happened so long ago, and it's just like, you know, again, I attribute that more to them, but they do give me the credit, and they tell me like that resume is what like got them those interviews, and that's what opened the door. And at the time, it when I needed it and when they told me, it picked me up. It really did. It really did. And it's what I went back to when I found myself working in corporate, and just the bullshit that happens in like, you know, the corporate workspace as a black person, you know what I'm saying? And so I put it on the side. I was doing like resumes every so often, and I wasn't really using it as a vehicle for like advocacy for black people, but I started getting in trouble at work for pushing black people and pushing, like, you know, I was working at an agency. So every time like a client came and they're like, yo, we have this role, we want to hire X, Y, and Z. I was put like, I'd be submitting like 5-6 people per role, which is like usually above what your average like agency recruiter was doing. And they all be black people. And like the kicker was I was killing it. Like I think I remember like in 1 year, like the first 3 months of the year, like the year prior, I billed like maybe like 150,000, which is like decent. Yeah. And then within like 3 months of the new year, by just tapping into my community, I did like 300,000, right? And I'm feeling like the big boss and everything. I'm feeling nice, right? It's like I got the commissions coming in, you know, people are getting jobs. I'm feeling nice, and I got written up. I remember I got written up because my manager said that I was being discriminatory by being the only black recruiter on the team, and the only black people our clients saw was from me. And I just remember thinking, I feel like you're missing like the bigger picture's going over your head. You know what I'm saying? Like you need to be asking, instead of asking why are all the black people coming from Jermaine, you need to be asking, why is it that we only get black people from
Jermaine?
Right?
Oh,
message.
Time, man.
You got the double. I told you, boy, we on the frequency. You got the double.
I'm here for it. And I have a quote that I need to put on a shirt, but I remember my manager took me into the lunchroom.
Hold on. Give me the quote, and we're gonna make you a shirt. Give me the quote, and more than the title is gonna make the shirt for you as a thank you for us coming on the show, not once but twice, and dropping gems. You give me the quote, I'm gonna write it down in my phone, and I will make you the shirt. I'm gonna send you the designs, and I will design the shirt for you more than the title. And that's our way of saying thank you. A small piece from us. You will have that shirt by the end. We will have that shirt done by the end of the week. Absolutely.
I appreciate that. So
I'm ready.
You can't overrepresent for an underrepresented group.
Okay, hold on.
You can't overrepresent for an underrepresented group.
Yeah.
You can't overrepresent
for an underrepresented group.
Got you.
So she was getting mad at me for having like, again, just having all like just pushing black people. And like I think like the day before I read a report from one of our universities here in Canada, and it said like black people in Canada were like 9 or 10% of the population, but we represented less than 4% of the tech jobs, right, in the tech workforce. And I was just like, we're underrepresented. Like, you should be commending me for that shit. And I was like, I looked at her and I was like, yo, the stuff that you're saying to me doesn't compute. Like, the math doesn't work, because you can't overrepresent for an underrepresented group. And I'm like, you're talking nonsense to me right now. And that got me written up. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna move to a next company. I went to a next company.
Wait, before you continue though, bro, was there anything that the workers that you helped place to make them even want to say that? Now, it's one thing if you get them the job or something like that, which is nothing. They were performing, they're doing a good job. They just like, still, you got too many black people hired, or why is your candidates only black?
No. So like the way the agency works, and this is how I know I was doing a good job. I didn't get my commission until they passed their probationary period, which was 90 days. Right? Because so the way that it works is that we place the person within 2 weeks, the company sends that company an invoice, and it has to be paid within 30 days of being processed. But we had a 90-day guarantee. So if for some reason, if the person quits, if the person is fired, right, or they get laid off, or not laid off, but fired or quit within that 90 days, something happens where they're terminated, we either have to give them a prorated refund based on where the termination fell, or we do the search for free. I never had to do a free search. I never had to do a refund.
Ooh. You get the screaming baby for that. Screaming baby. So in layman's terms, he's batting 100.
That's just crazy. And before you proceed, there was another message. I don't want to get too far away from that message. It was a message you said earlier, bro. You were working at Enterprise, and then you said your friends were picking you up because you were down, and you had gotten the professional corporate jobs. How the hell was it to the point where you got your friends' jobs and you didn't get yourself the professional corporate job?
So I was trying to get into radio the whole time.
Okay. There you go.
I was trying to get into radio. So like the way that I looked at it, I was like, I'm gonna look at it the same way actors look at like waiting tables while they wait for their big break. And I was like, I'll just do whatever sales, because I can talk, like I'll do whatever sales job I can do, right? Pick up skills, whatever I can, until I get that break into radio. And I was doing podcasts, I was doing online radio, I was doing a bunch of free shit, just waiting for it to pop and blow off. And on this particular day at Enterprise, I started working at Enterprise, and I made it all the way up to branch manager. And I was managing like the largest truck branch in Toronto. And I remember one day, so the thing they don't tell you is that like as the branch manager, when you send all your people out to do like ride backs and shit, you're responsible for cleaning the trucks and getting them out and, you know, everything. And like in the middle of the fucking day, I'm cleaning the truck and I split my pants. And I just, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, this is like it was like at this time I'm big too. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like I'm a big guy.
Hey yo. I
almost hit the wall too. I'm a big guy.
You know, he said it. When he said it the first time, I let it slide.
He kept killing me,
the tone was kind of crazy. Even from Canada, that's kind of crazy over here. I'm a big guy. Hey, slow that down.
Technically, I'm in Spain. I moved to Spain, so I'm not in Canada anymore. But like,
got you.
Y'all killing me. But yeah, it was just a rough day, and like, they picked me up, they hyped me up, and when I went home, I asked myself, like, yo, if I could do anything in the world, what would it be? And I said, I want to like get paid to play video games. And I said, I ain't trying to put the work in to be a pro gamer, because I had a homie that was trying to be a pro gamer. And I'm like, I'm not trying to put the work in to be better than him at Call of Duty, because that's just so far out of my zone. But I do want to work around video games. And that's how I got to like, I went on PlayStation's website and I looked for all the jobs that like were strong for communication. I came across a recruiter job and I worked backwards. I knew I could do everything that they asked in the job description. I just didn't have the 5 years of in-house or agency recruitment experience that I need to get the job. So I was like, all right, let me just get that experience, because I know I'm always going to want to work at PlayStation, and I'll see these niggas in like 5 years, right? And that's how I ended up in the agency. But like the more I worked and the more I started seeing like a real path, the less the desire to like want to continue wanted to work at like PlayStation became. And it was more about just like trying to do the impact. And that started like what kind of like really started like leading me and guiding me. So yeah, man, every time I went to a job, and like because of like how I was prior to working in recruitment, where I was just like, if a job never suited me, I would just leave it. Because like I said, because my main thing was I wanted to get into radio. So everything is temporary, right? And if you don't like me, I'll just get another job and just go somewhere else. So I took that with me to corporate, and as soon as they started acting funky, an employer, I just went to another employer, right? And like sometimes that got me in worse situations because I went from one manager telling me you can't submit so many black people to another place where like literally the day of the Raptors parade when we won in 2019, my grandmother passed that week, so it was a Raptors parade, and then on the Wednesday, and then on the Friday, my grandmother's funeral, right? On the Thursday, she was like 93, like it was my
That doesn't matter, man. Losing a loved one is never easy, man. And the impact that hole that they create when they leave, and it's something to be talked about. So my condolences to you and your family, man. Absolutely.
Thank you. She lived like a full life, so we've always looked at it as just like a celebration of life. She was born when Jamaica was a British colony. She was older than the country of Jamaica. Came up to Canada, you know what I'm saying? Brought all her grandbabies with her. Wow. She was able to meet her great grandchild, this, you know what I'm saying? Like this was a lady that like saw her family, you know, she lived like a good life. So we were sad that she was gone, but like we were also just like really proud of the life that she was able to live. So I've always looked at it as like a celebration, and like her spirit's always with us, you know, always protecting us and whatnot. So
wait, before you go, I just want to say something to Sony, you fucked up. You fucked up. I'm just saying, because the PlayStation, if you'd have had a little bit of leeway, you could have had the Jobfather. You know what I'm saying? Like,
to shoot Sony for bail, I didn't apply for the job. I was like, I'm not gonna apply for this job because I don't got the 5 years experience. So I don't know if
I'm saying they had a little bit more flexibility.
They could have had a motherfucker with some talent.
That's what I'm saying to you, right?
Fair enough.
Again, like, and we talked about this really quickly. We always talk about this, right? A lot of these jobs always want this experience to walk in the door. But how do I get the experience if every job that will give me the experience requires experience? You got to make up your mind. You want me to go to school and get the education. If I get the education and the degree and I spend 4 or 5 years getting the education, obviously I don't have the experience. Which one is it? Like, how do I get into the industry? I'm educated. I don't have when are you going to give me a shot?
Is it Uchi Wally or is it one Mike?
This guy's good. This guy.
I'm gonna tell you right now on that comment.
You have my curiosity, but now you have my attention.
That's a fact. That's man.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
It was crazy. That job I was at, in between the Raptors parade and my grandmother's funeral on the Thursday, they took me into a room and they're like, yo, we wish you could stop talking so black. We want you to talk less black. Yeah.
They said in those words that we want you to talk less black?
Dead ass. They said it in those Dead ass. I'm not even playing with you. Dead ass. So I was like, oh shit. I gotta go get another job.
You saying that motherfucker?
What was your response? You know we waiting for the response. What was the response?
You interviewed me. You interviewed me like this. I'm talking the same way I talked to you in the interview. Like if you didn't want me, why did you interview me and give me the job? Like, I'm laughing about it. Like
I wish you didn't. I wish you didn't know that, Jermaine. I wish you didn't know that, Jermaine. That's
the landing. It was not a lot of splash. I would like preferred more splash on that land.
If it was me and my cousin, and they's like, yo, you got to talk less black. It's only one reaction to that.
Black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all.
Throwing up the fist. I'm throwing up the fist.
So the joke is that actually became my ringtone in the office, and I made sure that my phone always rang that while I was in the office. And like to add context why I was kind of determined to make this work is that the old agency that I left, this new agency was in the same building. So I would run into my manager every time at lunch. And I had it was just a lot of drama in that building where I felt like I had to prove people that I could make it work because they tried talking me out of it. And I was like, no, frig you. I'm going about it. So like, I felt like if it didn't work, I would have people laughing at me. And that's kind of like an ego thing. But like, as soon as they said that, I was like already planning my exit out. And I was only there for like probably like 2.5 months, getting more and more disconnected with the job. I was literally just like collecting a paycheck. And then I got an offer for a startup incubator in Montreal. So I moved from Toronto to Montreal. And I remember the day they called me to fire me on the 89th day of my employment, so I wouldn't get the 90-day employment record. So I was, but like it was jokes because I was literally just about to call them, telling them that I quit. I'm not coming in tomorrow, and like I had a black mentor in that office. You know, every time you're like crazy white predominantly like white office space, there's always that black OG that's like, yo, they be on some bullshit, but like this is how you survive if you want to survive it. So he told me that they not only called to fire me, they put me on speakerphone for the whole office to hear because they wanted me to like beg for my job or they wanted me to like sound sad. And when they fired me, I was like, I bet, yo, cool. You courier my things to my address, peace. And I hung up. And they were like, he was like, yo, DJ turned so red. I thought he had a stroke. That shit was so funny.
Oh, man. Why the fuck what are they getting out of that?
Yeah, just some petty.
Wait.
That's just one
What does
what
that sound like? No. That sounds very familiar. They took a strong black guy that they knew was doing numbers, representation. And instead of being professional and saying, hey, you know, it's not working out, when they knew it was working out, they tried to make an example out of him for everybody else. That doesn't sound familiar to you?
No, now that you put it that way.
Let's
Message.
Let's take it back to what they used to do with the strongest black slave and the slave breakers.
Yeah.
Right? When they would have a guy come and they would tie up the strongest black slave and have the other guy take his manhood in front of the other slaves. That's the same shit. It's the same fucking tactic in a new day and era, just done a different way. But the message is the same. Take the strongest one and let's humiliate him. Let's bring him down so that the weaker ones will fall in line. Tell me how that's anything different. It's the same tactic.
But then there's bullshit like an HR there that's supposed to prevent things like that. Technically, in an organization like that, you're the agency, right? So you would think some shit like that wouldn't even be allowed to tolerate it, but it is. So I just want to say, you know what I mean? This is the shit we go deal with as black employees, y'all.
Right.
One of many.
Right. But how do you? What's the? Technically, they're gonna say, well, the call was to terminate him. Technically, right? So the HR, you fight HR and say, well, the way you terminated me was. It becomes one of those battles. Like, you understand what I'm saying?
Now you gotta walk into the office.
Huh?
Yeah. So the messed up thing is that because it was like a smaller business, the HR people was basically the co-CEOs. There was no designated HR.
Yeah. There is no HR. That's what that means.
And like I wasn't even like they were honestly so far away and small in my mind. Like you know, it's like ever watching Mad Men and like the guy's in the elevator with him and he's like, yo, you're like a horrible person. I don't know how you sleep at night. And he's like, I don't even think of you. It was literally it was literally that. Like I literally just looked at him. I was like, yo, I don't even think of you. Like I don't even care. Because like all I know is like, all right, this is done. I'm moving to Montreal. I got my place set up. I got my job that's paying me like 30% more than this job with less stress, doing cooler things and a like whole new vibe. Like you are so far beneath me right now. Like I don't really care what you have to say. So like just moved on. It was the best decision I could have made.
Right. And you handled it well. You know what I mean? Because as a culture, I ain't gonna lie to you, you know, we proudful. You know what I mean? And you didn't know you was on speaker, but the fact that you knew that they were calling you on the 89th day to do that to you, and I knew I had a different job, you definitely would have got a, you know, maybe an SMD from me. I would have went off. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it 100. Like, are you trying to play me? Well, guess what? I just got another job for 30%. I actually was about to call you 30 seconds later. So you're doing me a favor because I'm getting paid more. I already moved on. So SMD, click. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna lie, I'd have flexed on him because you're trying to flex on me, whether I knew I was on speaker or not. The fact that I knew that you was trying to play me ain't nothing to talk about anyway. We not friends. You don't have no respect for me anyway. So my respect for you goes out the window. I think a lot of us, we put too much, like they're burning the bridge, right? They're burning the bridge. You didn't burn the bridge. When you have too much respect and you have too much like, oh, we're going to play the game the right way when everybody else is showing you that they're cheating. Like at some point in time, we got to take the gloves off and play dirty too. That's why a lot of the times as a coach, we're not getting anywhere because they already played dirty. The only reason they're in position is because they played absolutely dirty. They cheated in every single way possible. And then when they got in position, now let's create all these other rules to stop them from advancing. That's the bottom line to it. You know what I mean?
130,000%. And like,
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes we got to like say, fuck that. Like, what are we playing? Yo, Jermaine, I preach this shit all the time on the show. It's like, we are being too nice and we're doing too much to coddle them, to compensate for them disrespecting us. And I'm like, for what? Like, what's the purpose of doing that? We're already losing like that. They already was going to fire you. What are you still playing nice for?
Yeah, it's, you know what? It comes down to just like, it comes down to just at the end of the day, being able to like protect your peace and making like the best choice for you. To me, I'm like the type of person where like if I get like a deadly virus in my arm, my reaction is to immediately cut off the arm. I'm not trying to just save. I'm not gonna try and like save. I'm just gonna go direct to like. Sometimes I think too direct on just how to get to the end game of like what my actual goal is and like.
Okay,
that's my problem.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I think of it as just like I might be moving too quickly when it comes to like processing shit. But like I look at it as like a wall I need to get through, and I'm just gonna run through it and like be damned at like who gets crushed on the other side and whatnot. And you know, like again, to me, if I could have given that situation a lot more energy, I had like a lot of recorded conversations with them and everything. But like I also know that I'm somebody that struggles with like multitasking, and when my attention is split, I get diminished returns. And if I was gonna go to war with them, I have to go to war with them. I can't focus on expanding my empire and fighting a war at the same time. So, I chose to cut my losses. Like I said, I made more money off of that new move with like less stress and half the work problems just off rip. Like they weren't worth it to me. Like the money that they were going to owe or like anything like that, it just wasn't worth it. Like I wanted to focus, especially moving to a city that I had never been to. I had no people in, and I don't speak French. So I was like, I don't know how the fuck that's going to work. Right. So I was like, I just want to leave it behind. Now, if anybody asks me about it, right, and a lot of people have asked me about it, and for what it's worth, I've had them lose clients, which was jokes, because I've had Black people that like I still have the job on my LinkedIn, right? So when Black people ask me, "Oh, yo, who was that?" Like, so I'll post about it. Sometimes you'll see me on my post, like I'll talk about the company that like said to me, like, "Yo, we don't want you talking Black. We want you to talk like Bob." And I'll get people at like some really high companies be like, "Yo, who said that to you?" And I'll tell them who, and they're like, "Oh, we're partnered with them." I was like, "Oh, if y'all really care about Black people, you shouldn't be partnered with them." They've lost a few partnerships, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and again, I'm not putting the business out there, but if someone asks me for my story, that's my story. And like, if they ever try to refute it, I got tapes. Right? So it's like I like if anyone ever came to me for like libel or slander, like I just got my tape, right? Ontario, where I'm from, is a one-party consent law. So like, you don't need to know I'm recording you.
This guy's good.
Message. I need to move to Ontario.
Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say?
A lot of you are backtracking. That's a fact. I didn't say that, Chadeo. Oh, you didn't? Play line 3, 2.4 section. Yeah, ain't that you right there? Yeah, there we go.
We'd have made a clip out of it. Put our logo on it.
That's a move I learned from my grandmother, man. The one that passed, like she'd be like, yo, I'm old, my memory's failing me. So yeah, I'm gonna record everything and just make sure I'm not losing my mind when I'm talking to you about it, right? So like, yeah, like that like, and even then my whole mindset was if I need to bring it to a lawyer and I can't use it in the court of law, I'll use it in the court of public opinion, right? Luckily, I can use it in the court of law because of one-party consent law.
Yeah, but I want to talk about like, because we talking about your authenticity, bro. And you doing that. I'm pretty sure some of the people who worked at that job then see you now and like, God damn.
Oh yeah, I get hit up. I've also poached like a lot of the recruiters that hated working there.
See, there you go. I knew.
I love him. He said, "I'm gonna get you motherfuckers back." I got
you. I read the Art of War. I studied Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, Augustus. Like I know how to fight when I need to, but I know how to do it like calculated. I'd rather expand my empire first, my impact, my reach, and then see what I can do with it when the time comes.
There you go.
You gotta listen to him. You can learn something.
Expand my impact and expand my reach. So you building that brand, bro, like we talk about the power of branding so much, bro, even just a platform like LinkedIn, how that can change your life. You just said big brands reached out to you, right? Was telling you, you lost a partnership. You probably gained some partnerships, right? Like, so the leverage that you have with your brand is knowing you have a core audience that you can speak to. And if what you say is going to get out, is powerful. And more of us need to be building that so we can be a collective power. And we don't do it enough, bro. It's just crazy.
I think it's just I think it just comes down to risk assessment, right? Because risk tolerance. Because a lot of people message me and they'd be like, "Yo, I wish I could like that post, but I got my manager watching my LinkedIn, and I got so and so watching like my LinkedIn." And like, it's true. Like I get it. Like for instance, I don't have kids, right? I don't have kids. I don't own a house. I don't got a mortgage. Like I'm with a long-term partner, and she's great. And yeah, definitely gonna marry her, but like, I'm not married either. So like my risk tolerance is so much lower than somebody that has all of those things. You know what I'm saying? Like being accountable to those things. A lot of people have those things that they're accountable to, so they have to move differently. Like that OG Black person that was in that job, he had to move differently because he had aging parents, he had a house, he had nieces and nephews he was taking care of, right? I was fortunate enough where I wasn't in that position, which has allowed me to take risks that sometimes work out, sometimes don't. But like, I'm always able to land on my feet because I just got to worry about me. Of course, like I'm taking care of my mom, my sister and whatnot. But like, even then, like the risk is still smaller than say somebody that's got to always figure out, how do I feed my 6-year-old? How do I put my kid through university? You know what I'm saying? So I'm very fortunate in that aspect. And like, I realize how fortunate I am. So it's like, I can't not take that risk, or like, there's just certain things that I'm not afraid to speak to, which is like why I started Jupiter HR. It's like, I have a very hard time. Like my girl's probably overhearing that, she's going to laugh, but because I have a very hard time keeping my opinions to myself. Like it is very hard for me it's very hard for me to shut the fuck up. Like I don't know how to, right? Like if I see something that like, if I do like a personality test, it always goes, you're the person that has high morals, that always like doesn't mess with people that go against those morals, right? And it's like, if I see an injustice or like something that's just fundamentally wrong to me, I'm going to speak out against it. I'm going to speak out on all my platforms. Wherever I have a voice, I'm going to speak out. I've never been afraid to use my voice, right? It's gotten me.
Chad's in love, bro. Look at Chad. That's my dog right here.
You see the smile on my face?
I haven't smiled like this since episode 84.
I don't think I've ever smiled like this, but I love this fucking Jermaine. You about to be my fucking homie, man. I feel like we're spirits, man, because I'm the same way, bro. Sometimes you gotta chill, like, fuck that. He's not got me about this shit.
So I think like 2 years ago. So I 2 years ago, like we have like a family reunion in honor of my grandmother every single year, right? And like I think like 2 or so years ago, I went to the party and my uncle's like, "Yo, yo, I love that. I love that article that you did. I love seeing you there. I've been showing it to everybody. I had Forbes do a profile on me and on my mission, which I love.
Yeah,
so
shout out
like,
to Dr. Janice, we saw that, man.
love Dr. Janice. She's the
she
best.
was on the show, man. Love her. Yeah,
love her. She just had a kid and a beautiful family. Love her. Shout outs to her. Yeah. So like my uncle's like, yeah, he's showing the people at the party, and I'm like, oh, he's showing the Forbes article, and then he shows you the article. It's not the Forbes article. When the Queen died, I said some shit about like I'm a descendant of Jamaican immigrants. Like her family has perpetuated continuous harm on my people. I am not sad that she's dead. So the New York Post wrote a story about that.
Wow. That's some good. That's fucking brilliant and it's real and it's brilliant marketing too.
Crazy,
bro. No, I was shitting myself because I was about to fly to England like two weeks later. I have an English passport, and I was saying to myself, yo, if they're like, yo, we can't let you in the country because you on a list. I was about to take out my passport and be like, nah, Leo, I'm a citizen, and you gotta let me in or revoke my passport. But like they let me through and everything. And my girl was pissed because she was like, yo, you need to know when to shut the fuck up. Like you can't be saying shit about people's a country's leader or royal family while you're going into the country. Like that's how they get
your
you.
Story and what about your leader? What about your family back in the country? Like you have a right to say that shit.
It's a fact,
but you're not supposed to.
Don't deny your own culture. You in touch with your culture, man. And you know, I don't know who your lady is, but to whoever his lady is, just understand that Jermaine keeps it he keeps it real, baby. So if you want to marry this man, know what you signing up for. He might say some shit at the wedding. Like, yo, what is you doing in the back? I don't like you. What you doing in my wedding, homie? Get the fuck out of here. Nobody invited you.
Man. Nah, but
the wedding might get crazy, Jermaine. You might see some people like, I don't even mess with you. Who invited? Security.
No, she knows exactly. She knows exactly who she get with, but like she did have a point because we go in a country where like they're not afraid to like snatch somebody out of the street, right? English is not one of those countries, but like, you know, you say that in the wrong part. You say that in Turkey, for example, they snatch you out of the streets. You say that in maybe even Greece, they snatch you out of the street. If Trump wins the election, you don't know what's gonna happen. They might be snatching you out the streets. So like, she did have a point. She's like, say your opinion, but again, be strategic of like where you are to say it. Like saying it from the comfort of Canada, you never stepping foot on like certain soil, you good, you know, criticize China, whatever, right? As long as you know that you might not want to go to China.
But what was the impact of the New York Times writing that post? Now, how did it impact the business? Were people reaching out afterwards like, yo, good job, I thought that shit too? Did it do anything? Like how did it impact the brand, bro?
It didn't really impact the business, I would say. It did give me a lot of props from like people in the Jamaican community.
Right.
I think the Forbes article made me the front page news on Jamaicans.com, and then like 2 weeks later, this was on Jamaicans.com, and like to be real, I was just like, yo, I just want this to go away because I'm tired.
You should have got a free trip or vacation or something.
Man.
I'm seeing Prince Harry. You know, look at the TVs. I'm thinking he's looking at me. Like, I'm like, oh damn.
Jamaica should have put up an honorary statue. You should have got a statue somewhere for that shit. Like, you want to see what representing the country is, man? Jermaine, right here.
Bonton ticket for life.
You should have got a plaque at least somewhere, man. What are you talking about, man? Yeah, like, I love that shit, man. I love that shit. I ain't gonna lie, Jermaine. Listen, man. Like now, my cousin knows me, man. Like he knows me, man. Like that's why he like, yo, he loves you. But yo, listen, man. I'm not being funny, bro. We always talk about the struggle of the black and brown person, man, and this is not from just America, but from around the world, man. We have been done injustices for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, bro. If we don't stand up and fight, if nobody ever goes outside their comfort zone and says, like, nah, fuck that, this needs to be said, we will never, ever move forward, bro.
I agree.
Because people believe, you know why you got that response from your community? Because people were ecstatic because they felt the same exact way. Some of them are just afraid to say it. So, you know, you being in a leadership position, in a position of power and reach, you almost have the responsibility
Yeah.
to say it, bro. Matter of fact, not almost. You do have the responsibility because you have the platform, you have the reach, you have the community that's gonna look to you for that type of guidance. And you don't even know what you could have inspired in the next. You might inspire the next president of Jamaica or somebody that's like, yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. And now I'm gonna live my life. You don't even know what you did with that, bro.
Facts. It's
I'm
no
telling
attribution
you,
on that, bro.
that's
No
the fact,
ROI
bro.
on that.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. I don't think the
Yeah,
reach is.
man.
I don't think the reach is there yet, but that's the goal. But like, yeah, it was.
You mean the reach ain't there? What are the numbers? No, let's talk the numbers. What is your reach right now? You're doing 100,000 on LinkedIn alone. What is the reach yearly numbers?
It gotta be like, millions if you're doing hundreds of thousands. Come on, what we talking?
Okay. I mean, like there's social. There's social media reach for sure.
Right.
But like to me as well, especially as being somebody that's Jamaican, as a black man, there's also to me like political reach too. And like I don't think I'm at that point where I have enough of a reach or a big enough following or a big enough platform where politicians want to reach out to me to take advantage of that platform or in fear of that platform. And that's the type of influence I think of. That when y'all are bigging me up and I love it, but like that's the type of influence that I'm thinking of right now, and it's like that's scale, right? So I'm not at scale yet, but what I'm able to do on a 1-to-1 level, I try to do. And like again, like I said, if I have something that's on my heart, I'm not afraid to speak on it. I don't think about it until after the fact, which is a double-edged sword. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you get a commentary that shouldn't be said, that should be more strategically rolled out, but like, it is what it is. Like, I say what's on my heart and I deal with everything that comes after. And that's just how I've been my whole entire life and all of my jobs and all of my relationships, platonic, romantic. That's just, how I've just always been. I go off of instinct. I almost feel like an animal sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
That's how we move.
We
move the same way. But if you build it, they will come, bro. If you build it, they will come. You have the reach, right? So I would have thought, nigga, sitting on my couch, I'm sitting here drinking a Blue Moon with my cousin, having fun, that we would have Beyonce's dad on. Would have the people that we have. We have people like you, Dr. Marcus Collins. We have Walter Gear. Like you know what I'm saying? You build it, they would come. We could have the Bronx borough president about to pull up. We have so many different things, bro. There's ways you can impact. And how you do is by keep showing up continuously as yourself. That's all you have to do, bro. Your reach is insane. If I'm doing 3 million on LinkedIn, I know you're doing add a 0 and another 0 maybe. I'm doing 3 modestly. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like our reach isn't there yet. You know what I mean? On certain levels, it depends on what we're trying to accomplish. Like my reach is there. What we do is we say something called impact over metrics, bro. We may not be able to have the metrics that's going to have the big podcast. We don't have to earn your leisure numbers. But guess what? When I go outside, I get Nipsey level love. You know what I'm saying? So what's the impact of that, right? Where I can see somebody that says, yo, Jay, I want to start a podcast about my time in prison or something like that. Yo, what equipment I need? Yo, I'm going to be the biggest thing since sliced bread, bro. Who am I to tell them no? I'm going to help you get it. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I'm like on the, like, it might not have like the scale, but like on a 1-to-1 level, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you can change even like one person's life or have that impact, like, who cares about like being able to like affect policy? Like at the end of the day, it's community building, and like some are able to do it at scale, but like I've always preferred to like invest in my relationships on like a 1-to-1 type of level. I try to like I've helped. So our whole mission right now is to help 500 Black people get jobs in tech. We've done 414 people.
Crazy. Hold on. Because last time we spoke, which was probably like a year from today, we was at like 300, early 3.
Yeah, early 3. I think it was like 320 or something.
Something like that. Yeah, bro.
Yeah. So we're creeping up right to that 500, and I know every single person by name, location, face. I got their number in my phone. Right. I know them. Like I have a bad memory. That's what I say. I have a pretty bad memory, but I remember each and every victory, right? Because it's imprinted on my actual heart. So like, I get it. When you're like, you go out and you run into somebody and you hear the things, or like you hear like how you change them, and like there are some people that I've helped that I don't even actually like know. Like some of the people get added retroactively. Like I went to render ATL and we added like 3-4 people to the count because I did a talk and I had people come up to me and they're like, I got no questions, but I just want to say thank you because I used your resume template to get my job. I want to say thank you because I didn't have the money at the time. And I asked you if I could have a 15-minute chat with you. You gave me a free 1-hour coaching call. That helped me get my job, right? That changed. So like that's to me, that's community building. That's like that's like grassroots. And like
but let's stop right there. Let's stop right there because you said I keep hearing you saying that you feel like you don't have the reach to affect policy. But what is policy? Think about what policy is and think about how policies are enacted and how policies are created and who has the ability to change policy. See, policy is created by man. Policy is created by people in power to create and alter and change policy. So even though you might not be feel like you have the reach to change policy, if you're changing people's lives, what you're doing is putting people in position with different mindsets. So no, you might not change policy exactly in that moment, but now that you've helped so many people get to different positions, eventually they become the people in positions to change policy or enact new policy, which is still a direct reflection of what you caused. Remember, you're not playing. See, Jermaine, we got to understand this, right? And this is where a lot of our culture falls short. We're trying to play the fast game. They're playing the long game. We have to play the long game, right? When people talk about these powerful groups, the Illuminati, think about all these groups. These groups ain't playing the win right now game. They're like, we're going to win for the next 300 years. And let's put the steps in place so that you don't even realize we're winning until it's too fucking late. You don't even realize that this whole group we control because we're not going to say nothing. We're just going to strategically put one person in place here, one person in place here, one person. And then when we have all the dots, we connect them. And then there's nothing that you can do about it. That's the game that we have to play. We got to play the long game. We got to play that. And I'm going to tell you, we did something like that. And I did construction for a long period of time. We have an organization, Black Hawk, it's called 100 BCW, 100 Black Construction Workers, right? And our goal was to do exactly that. We realized that we didn't have representation and we wanted to change policy and things of that nature. So you know what we did? We found people that had different talents that wanted to do different things. So let's say Jarrett wanted to be a part of a certain organization. He became a part of the certain organization, did his thing. And then Jarrett's like, yo, you know what? I would like to move up in this organization, but I don't have the numbers for the voting. So we would go, okay, what's the process to becoming a member? And then what's the process to become a voting member? So we all would join as a unit, go to the meeting, support. And then when the voting came, we would overload them. Now Jarrett's in position. And then you know what we did after that? We never showed up again. And then we never showed up again. But now Jarrett's in position in this organization. And then we just repeated that. Now, what do you want to do, Jermaine? And then we repeated that for your organization and your organization. And within 3-4 years, 5 years, now we have 5 people in position. Now, when we say let's make a move, the organizations that we need to okay it, all of our guys are running the organization.
Facts.
That's the game. Once we start playing that game, we're unstoppable. The problem is we're playing the win right now game, the make money right now game, the floss right now. I need the accolades and the accolades and everything that comes with winning right now, instead of saying, listen, I might not never see the win. I might not never see the win, but I know the work that I'm doing will inspire somebody that's going to win 10, 15, 20 years down the road. You see what I'm saying? That's the problem. That's the game that we got to play, man. Yeah.
It's hard to play that game in tech when we don't have the ownership.
Well,
we don't have the ownership and we don't come to as a collective, bro. It's back to that. Like me and you are willing to fucking fall on the sword, right? So the same thing you just said earlier, bro, about, yo, you got kids, the OG was in there and he had to move a certain way, mortgage, those same issues we have. And we took the route. And we're still continuing to do the content. I think we're on 7 months right now. We've only interviewed Black successful professionals.
Mainly.
Only this year, 2024.
Oh, this year? Oh, yeah. Well, this year, yeah.
That's right. Real shit.
And I love that, and I commend y'all for your bravery. I think that's the thing. That's how I always look at it. Like I look at it the same way, like my relationship with like the word nigga, right? Like I will never. I am happy. I love. That's my word. I say it. But like if a Black person ever You know what I'm saying? But a black person, I had this happen to me in university, actually, that made me like really think. I had a black person come up to me and because I said, what's up, my nigga? And she went, yo, I'm not really comfortable with you calling me that word. And at first I was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of weird.
You was
like,
my nigga.
Yeah. And then she was just like, she's never felt comfortable with that word after watching Roots. And it's just like, she feels like the trauma and the baggage that comes with that word, she doesn't sit right with her spirit. And as like a spiritual person, I actually understand that. I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. I understand when certain things are heavy for the soul. So my whole approach has always been like, I always try to uplift community. And if someone in the community says like, yo, the relationship I have with that word is one that I don't like where it's being used towards me, I don't use that word towards them. Right. And it's the same way that I look at people that choose to go into entrepreneurship versus who choose not to go into entrepreneurship. The ones who choose to go into entrepreneurship, do what you're doing, do like in some ways what I'm doing. That takes a certain level of bravery. And I will always commend you and give you props for it. But I make sure that I'm careful not to turn around and like be disappointed in the people that didn't opt for that path because they decided that their responsibility was greater than the risk.
No, and I totally agree with you 100%.
And I know that's not.
Totally agree with you. Totally agree with you 100%. But even the ones that are there sometimes don't even bring the ladder down. That's the problem too.
That's a whole different conversation. That's a whole different group of people.
It's like the reason why
those are Clarence Thomases. We're not talking about the Clarence Thomases.
Exactly. Like that's why I respect the brother. Like,
hold on, Cuzzo. I hope you're not related to Clarence Thomas. Your last name Thomas.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm just saying, because your last name Thomas. Please don't say you're related to Clarence. I don't know a Clarence.
We'll get him on the show.
For all you know, Jarrett was the one trying to be the free man, and Clarence was the Samuel L. Jackson hole.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
that's probably what that is. He's the Uncle Ruckus, but
I'm definitely more Jack. Yeah. You feel me? Because that's what happened, bro. But that was the whole reason we left corporate. That was the whole reason. Now we could easily sit there and get a $200,000 job in sales. First of all, you coming in with sales. First of all, one thing I hate about tech, and I'll give everybody a lesson. They want you to build a certain level of profile for yourself, but when you build a certain profile in these corporations, they don't know how to utilize you, and then that becomes scary to them.
Yeah.
One thing, right? This is why the show is called More Than a Title, right? Because guess what? I am the sales guy, but guess what? I could also break down this website and tell you why we're not getting leads. I could also tell you why our digital marketing sucks. I also could tell you why our SEO sucks. I could tell you why our videos on YouTube suck. I could tell you why everything. And also I could talk to the customer and make them feel so comfortable where they want to sign a $100,000 deal with us. But when you have that, right? And then what I started doing, I started empowering other Black people to look and think that way. I came into my last organization, bro, and it was like, yo, I got my own podcast. I got this, boom, boom. I had Rap Snack Revolt. I sold $2 million. I went viral. I put my face on Steph Curry. I had LinkedIn, Amazon. Everybody wanted me. I came to this organization, and I'm going to tear shit up. First town hall meeting, I'm coming in with my hat and my hoodie on, with the CEO can see me on the Zoom. Motherfuckers looking at me like, 2 weeks later, everybody wearing their hat. The motherfuckers got a cock to the side, all types of shit. And I empower so many people to be like, yo, he can do that. He's talking his shit. And he's talking to, not only is he talking to the CEO, this motherfucker interviewed him on his platform. You feel me? The marketing had nothing to do with this. Set it up on my, you know what I'm saying? So, and what happens? What happens is I was one of the first ones to be let go when a big decision needed to be made, but when other things need to be had, or they need a specific reach somewhere, I was the person they go to. And I think that's bullshit. So I could have.
Wait, you know what that is? Oh shit, we talked. Look, no, that's not bullshit. That was divine intervention.
Intervention, exactly.
We're talking about spirituality. What's meant for you, like Malik Yoba said, can't be taken away, right? It can't be taken. It will be for you.
Facts.
We had to go through and this is why I say to our community, we did better technically when we had so many more restrictions, because the fight was there, because we can't. You're getting the rebellion. Now that people feel like we've gotten just a little taste of freedom and financial wealth and empowerment, the fight is starting to diminish. The motivation is diminishing. But that had to happen to you, because if you didn't experience those things, you wouldn't have had the strength to say, I'm done.
Fact.
If one of those things change, where even one of those people appreciates you and supports you, you stay there and you excel as you were doing in that space. And this is never created. You see what I'm saying? So we got to start looking at life as the good and the bad, because it takes the mixture of the both to get you to where you need to be in the present moment.
No, absolutely. I totally agree. And I'm glad we do what we do, because there's nothing, I can't put a price on my freedom, bro.
Y'all ever watch the show Mad Men by any chance?
Oh yeah, I've seen some of it. I haven't seen the whole joint. Yeah,
you gotta watch.
No, it's really
it.
good. Mad Men is really good. Mad Men is really good.
Yeah,
really good.
Mad Men is like one of my top shows, and like
you can binge watch it now.
You can binge watch it
all the way through. Yeah,
but I think about it all the time because of just different things and moments, especially as like an entrepreneur. It's a really great show for that. But like, there's one character in there, Pete, and he has this like interesting journey as like a salesperson, but like, he basically, because the show takes place in the 60s and kind of goes into the 70s, he basically elevated his firm, because one day he was in an elevator, he let a black girl in there, and he saw her with a Jet magazine, and like it just dawned on him like, oh shit, black people have TVs too, right? Yeah. And then when he went to have the conversation with the superiors, he's like, we should start marketing towards black people. And they're like, why? They're black. And he's like, but their money is green, right? And then this is where you start having because like you said, like a
little later on the day, I was like, yeah, that's a motherfucking
I wanted to let him finish.
I saw chat. You're like, oh, I know exactly where you're going with this. Yeah, I'm like, but I always think about that, because it's like I agree with you, like in a way, like kind of like not that the fight has gone out, but like there are a lot of different ways where acclimating has kind of pacified us in some instances, but it's also allowed people to infiltrate and bigger companies to buy out entrepreneurial endeavors. Because like the thing for an entrepreneur is always the exit, right? And like when you're the first of something, sometimes you don't think far enough like where this exit is going to lead the entity. Because again, at the time and place, you're told all these different things. I'm thinking about Bob Johnson and friggin' BET, right? Viacom told him that they keep this going, they keep that going, it wouldn't be this. And as soon as the paper was signed, he got the money, they turned it into something that was a shell of its former self, right? And like, again, when you don't know, you don't know. When you're the first, you're the first, right? And that's kind of like how like a lot of times like black entrepreneur will come up with something, and you'll have these bigger companies come in and either try to it's almost like a damn revolutionary state, where it's like they'll either come in and they're like, hey, we want to buy you out and we'll take over, or we'll fund your competition and try to like crush you in that way, right? Steal your market share, steal your IP. We got our big lawyers, like we're part of the community that wrote the law, so we know the law and the loopholes, you know what I'm saying? We also a lot of times people don't even realize this, but the lawyers have a relationship with the judges, right? And a lot of times, I think The Wire did a really good job of showing this, right?
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of times, like certain motions or certain plays play out in court because of conversations that happen in that judge's office, and sometimes it relies on a relationship between the judge and the prosecutor, the judge and the defense attorney, right? For the judge to give maybe a little bit more leeway for something to be exposed to the jury, or for something to be said, or for a point to be brought up. And it's just like, it's really like a really challenging and dirty game. And that's why I'm always like, when I see black businesses that are in like the billions or on like the stock market, I always got to give them props. Right. I always got to research their politics and what they be doing before I give them props. But I got to give them props because like it ain't easy making it there, especially when you have so much working against you from a system wise and then from like a people wise, you know?
Nah, that's real, bro.
I got a question though. I pose this to you. You're right. Entrepreneurship, the exit strategy is based into the understanding of how to build a business, scale a business, then sell a business, right? But when you actually care about the culture and what you do is for the culture, all the mistakes and everything that it took for you to get to the point where somebody wanted to buy you out gives you the knowledge now that can never be taken away from you. If you take, you know what most people do when they sell? They start all over again with another company. Now you don't have to take 20 years to build it because you have all the resources, money, economic, you have all the relationships, blah, 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 blah. So if BET wasn't what Bob wanted it to be after they took over it, he should have created another fucking BET. Message. Plain and simple, because now you have all the resources in the world. You got all the law, you got everything in place. You have no excuse. And guess what? There's other people that follow BET and they were on to come up, and you could have easily got with them and say, you know what? I like what you're doing. I don't like what they did over there. Let me mentor you. Even if you're not the front runner, people don't even have to know you're involved. Thank you, bro. They don't even have to know you're involved. You could be a silent investor and a mentor and help guide the next one to now become what BET should have been. Come on, let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it. Cut this shit out, man. It's either you care or you don't really care. It's either you want and I'm not mad. Listen, you did what you had to do. You got the bag. Your family's good. I'm not mad. But what I'm not going to do is make an excuse for your, let's just call it, I don't even know what you want to call it, but for the fact that you did not correct a mistake that you seen. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I think it's a mix of things, but I also think Jarrett alluded to it earlier, like some shit pacifies you and it steals your hunger, and the hunger is gone. Like, you know, I've always one of the biggest reasons I've always loved Kobe and Jordan is that I love the aspect of being clutch. I think that's something I love about entrepreneurship. Like, it's peaks and valleys and shit. Either your highs will be really high and your lows will be fucking 9th level of hell low, but like your back is always against the wall, right? And it's either do or die. You know, some people, they crumble under the pressure, and some people, they're diamonds. Like they that's where they shine brightest. And I think when you don't have that hunger, when you don't have that fight or flight instinct in there anymore, and I think a lot of ways like money can pacify that depending on like what your goals are, right? Like if your goal was just to set up generational wealth, you know what I'm saying? If your goal was to like obtain what you define as true power, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a whole different levels of like conversations. And I wouldn't be surprised, like, because he flipped and then he went and he became like the first Black owner of like the Bobcats, of like an NBA team, right? I mean, it sucks that it was the Bobcats. It's like, you know,
get in when you fit in.
He got into the Boys and Girls Club.
He got into the Boys and Girls Club.
Boys and Girls Club. So I mean,
and everything's easier in hindsight as well. But like, yeah, like it's a tricky thing. It's a tricky thing. So I think it just comes down to like what it is your ultimate goal is and what you want to achieve.
That's a fact. But I gotta ask you now. Let's get to the shit. We entrepreneurs, we talking that shit. What are some of the lows to you? Because the people need to know what that entrepreneur, them peaks and valleys look like. What are one of the lows, bro, that you felt like you was about to quit, all that stuff, and you still persevered through, bro? If you could share one of those moments, and we'll do the same with you.
Geez. I think one of the moments where I felt like I was gonna not quit. I don't like, not to sound egotistic or anything, but I've never wanted to quit because I don't have a plan. I deliberately don't have a plan B. Right?
There you go.
I deliberately.
Yeah, he's ready. Jermaine's coming back next week. He's a permanent resident.
I promise you, bro. Jermaine gonna be reoccurring on this motherfucker. I promise you, Jermaine. Keep your mic warm.
I literally don't have a plan B, and like my low point sometimes when like shit's not coming in or like revenue gets a little bit low, you know, especially because I work in like the career coaching business and everything. People are getting laid off, so like they're being more like the economy, people are a lot more tight with their money. Companies are axing their DEI initiatives, so it's like almost like an uphill battle. Some companies that were allies have become hostile towards me because of the state that they're in. DEI is no longer a thing. DEI is literally illegal. So like there were some points I'm just like, I really gotta get it out the mud. Like shit. Like I gotta dig deep. But like I believe in the whole thing about like adapt or die. Like that's like it's either adapt or die. And like a lot of times I felt like my back is against the wall. And like, you know, sometimes it feels like it's really, 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 really against the wall, maybe even in the wall. And my low points are like, not can I do this, but shit, I got so much I got to do. And I just hope that this play works out. Cause if it don't, like, you know, I gotta figure something else out.
The Darwinian theory of evolution: evolve or die.
Yeah.
The Darwinian theory of evolution: evolve or die. That's what that is. And not having a plan B. Again, like me and Cuzzo, we've done so many things. And we actually had, and shout out to David Shands, man, the big homie, man. We had a phenomenal podcast with Shands, and one of the best things on our podcast with Shands is the fact that I argued with him because he was like, yo, you can't be successful in many things. And I'm like, how? Nigga, I'm successful. I got 5 come, 4 come. You know what I mean? And he was like, yeah, but that's not. And then he broke it down. And in that moment, it was a great debate. But I didn't truly understand his message. And when I did, you know what I did? The next time we met him, I said, you were absolutely fucking right. I argued with you because I still didn't believe it. But now I truly understand what he was saying about being all in, about not dividing your time and your energy and your resources into so many different things. And it's like, yo, you really want to get to the mountaintop? Pour everything. Don't have a fucking plan B. Like this is do or die. See this through the valleys, through the ups, the downs, the good days, the terrible fucking days, and just keep figuring it out. And then when you figure it out, you will get to a different level of success than if you just kind of like pieced it off. You understand what I'm saying? So we live by that shit now. Like you on mute, cuz if you saying something, you on mute.
That's all we do, bro. Live by that motherfucker.
Live by that shit now. So trust me, we understand what you're saying. You know what I mean? It's real like that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I know you got to jump too, bro. But I just want to let you know, bro, because we was going to get to the shits and stuff. Yo, anytime, first of all, I'm going to just let you know, bro, because I've been rocking with you for a couple of years, bro. I'm proud of everything you're doing, bro. I know what you're doing. We know them peaks and valleys that you go through sometimes, bro. And that's why I want to have that conversation. But you're doing a phenomenal motherfucking job, man.
Facts.
And you're inspiring a lot of people, bro, in real time. You may not have the ROI right now. You may not have the attribution right now. But I'm telling you, brother to brother, man, just keep fucking going, man. Like,
thank you, man. I appreciate that so much. And we definitely got to do a part 3.
Yeah, man, because your ROI is not calculable. I'm just telling you right now, like you can't calculate it because I'm telling you, you're providing inspiration, bro, and inspiration can't be quantified. That's just the bottom line, man. You're never going to meet all the people that you've changed their lives already. It's just never going to happen. But believe the things that you are doing, people are paying attention and they are listening and they are learning, man. And you're changing the culture and you're helping this culture move forward, man. So, you know, I wish we could definitely like clone your ass.
You know what I'm saying?
Jermaine's in this motherfucker. Let's get some of the rest of these raggedy ass motherfuckers out. We clone Jermaine to get some of these raggedy motherfuckers out here. You know what I'm saying? So,
I appreciate that so much, dog.
And I'm glad I was able to be a part of this. And see, I missed the first one. You know what I'm saying? I missed the first one, but I'm a part of this one. You know what I mean? So we want to thank you for coming on the show, man. We appreciate you, man. This will not be our last conversation. You're going to be hearing from me.
Yo, matter of fact, and just put in the private chat. Put your number too, bro. Because we already know we create the chat, bro. I don't think we did it the first time, but we create the chat. Anything you need from us, let us know. You text us. Anybody that we in contact with right now, anybody you see on the pod, you want to get in touch with, it's a text away, bro. We don't gatekeep. Just let us know, bro. You part of the family.
You're a part of the More Than a Title family now, man. Yeah, and we mean that, Jermaine, for real. Like, you know, we're in 130 episode, you know, 130s. There are 130 something other people that's been on this show that you might, you know, have a lot of interests and commonalities with, man. Just when you get time, just look at, you know, our guest list. And if you ever want to connect with anybody, man, like Jarrett said, that's why we do the direct connect.
Yeah, you need to be at Black Week too.
Yeah.
I'll check that out. I never heard of that, but I will check it out. I'll
check out Black Week, bro. We'll make the plug. We're gonna be out there. We filming all week, bro. We got you. Just let us know if you want to.
It's in New York at the Javits Center. This is gonna be something that you should definitely, if you're able to attend, you know, come through, man. I love this show, man. It's one of my favorites.
It's the real. You know what I mean? But we already know next week, y'all got a crazy episode. On in Manhattan will be on More Than a Title. One of the top ranked Netflix shows will be on More Than a Title. After that, we got Jason Rosario, who's the chief. He's actually the DEI officer at BDO, one of the top guys, the chief diversity and equity. You know what I'm saying? He gonna come through. We got a lot of setup for y'all. We gonna see y'all next week. More Than a Title. We out of here, baby.
What you know about me? Seen it all, heard it all. what you know about me? I done it all, just want it all. Oh, what you know about me?